You've been lied to your whole life about women. You were told it's about looks, money, height, smooth lines, or being the guy who bends over backward to prove himself. But here's the cold truth. Most men never figure out until it's too late. None of that wins her heart. None of that creates the pull that keeps her up at night thinking about you. What does? 2 words. Just 2 words. Words so powerful they unlock something primal inside her. Not because they trick her, not because they manipulate her, but because they tap directly into how women are wired. And if you understand this, you'll stop begging for attention, you'll stop chasing her validation, and you'll start living as the man she cannot ignore. Picture this. You meet a woman, and instead of fumbling for approval, you lean in, calm, grounded, and with 2 words, her entire energy shifts. Suddenly she feels seen, respected, and at the same time challenged. It's like a switch flipped. That's the moment attraction stops being a game of effort and starts being a force of gravity. The weak man keeps talking, explaining, trying to impress. The strong man says less but carries more weight. And if you want to step into that kind of power, this video is your blueprint. Because here's the truth. Every woman on this planet is testing one thing when she meets a man: his frame, his center, his ability to hold ground without collapsing into neediness. And the 2 words I'm going to give you today, they don't just pass her test, they end it. They shift the entire dynamic, not with a trick, but with timeless masculine presence. So listen carefully, because once you understand how to use this, you will never see conversations, attraction, or connection the same way again. Brother, let's get brutally honest. Most men live their lives chasing women the same way a dog chases a car. Loud, frantic, desperate, and with no idea what to do once they actually catch it. They wake up in the morning and fire off the same empty text. Good morning, beautiful. They shower her with compliments, thinking more words equals more attraction. And yet the harder they try, the faster she slips away. You've probably seen it in your own life. The girl you wanted most was the one you lost the fastest. Why? Because she could smell the weakness in every word you spoke. What you're about to learn flips all of that upside down. You don't need to chase. You don't need to memorize lines or play games. Women are not drawn to effort. They are drawn to essence. They crave the man whose words don't come from a place of begging, but from a place of grounded certainty. And when you learn to communicate from that frame, when you know how to wield just 2 words with strength and clarity, you instantly separate yourself from 99% of men who are stumbling in the dark. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If your thoughts are desperate, your words will reek of desperation. If your thoughts are steady, self-respecting, and masculine, your words will radiate gravity. Women feel that before they even register it. And when they feel it, they lean in. So in this journey, I'm going to break down exactly why these 2 words matter, how they fit into the psychology of attraction, and what happens when you speak them from the right frame. We'll go through 5 revelations, each one building on the last until you understand not just the words, but the man you must become to make them work. Because the truth is, without inner strength, the words are empty. But when you've forged yourself in discipline and self-respect, they become unstoppable. Now let's dive into the first revelation, because this is where most men destroy their chances before they even start. 1. Men overcomplicate attraction. Here's the first problem. Men think attraction is complicated. They believe it's this giant puzzle they need to solve, where every move has to be perfect, every word rehearsed, every gesture calculated. They read articles, memorize pickup lines, and waste energy trying to unlock a woman like she's some kind of safe with a secret code. And yet the harder they try, the less it works. Why? Because women are not drawn to complication. They are drawn to clarity. Take John, 49. He'd been divorced for 3 years and was trying to re-enter the dating scene. Every time he sat across from a younger woman, he turned the interaction into a job interview. He thought more words, more compliments, more effort would win her over. Instead, he just felt like he was pushing against a locked door. But the truth was simple. It wasn't his age, his looks, or his status that turned her off. It was the fact that he was drowning her in noise instead of creating space for her to feel something real. Psychologically, this is where most men fail. Women don't fall for the man who talks the most. They fall for the man who means the most. It's about presence, not performance. Every word you speak either reinforces your strength or exposes your insecurity. That's why 2 words spoken from the right frame carry more weight than 50 words of empty flattery. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Simplicity is power. Truth is power. And when your words come from that place, you don't need to overwhelm her. You let her come to you. The mindset shift is this: stop trying to win her with excess. Stop explaining yourself. Stop turning dates into speeches. Strip everything down to its essence, because the man who can command attention with just 2 words is the man she cannot forget. 2. The psychology of curiosity and challenge. Here's what most men never realize. Women aren't magnetized by what they already know. They're magnetized by what they don't know. Curiosity is the spark of attraction, and challenge is the oxygen that keeps it burning. When you flutter with words, when you try too hard to lay everything out on the table, you kill her curiosity. You leave her with nothing to discover. And when there's nothing left to discover, there's nothing left to chase. Think of Daniel 52. He was successful, confident in business, but with women, he slipped into over-explaining. On dates, he would give long monologues about his work, his past, even his ex-wife. He thought being open would show maturity. Instead, he left women drained. But then, one night, he shifted. When a woman asked about his last relationship, instead of launching into a 10-minute speech, he leaned back, smiled, and said 2 words: "Not important." And in that silence, she leaned in. She wanted to know more. Suddenly, he wasn't just another man explaining his past. He was a mystery, and she was drawn into it. Psychology backs this up. Women test for mystery and strength because both signal survival value. A man who doesn't spill everything at once demonstrates control, restraint, and confidence. He shows he doesn't need validation from her approval, and that creates a gravitational pull. As Seneca once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Let her imagination work in your favor. Give her room to wonder. Give her room to think about you when you're not around. The mindset shift is this: stop feeding her answers like a vending machine. Become the man who doesn't fear silence, who doesn't need to explain, who can make her lean in with nothing more than 2 words. Because when curiosity is alive, attraction never dies. 3. The 2 words that flip the frame. Here it is, brother. The 2 words that most men never use, but when spoken from the right frame, they change everything. You decide. Think about it. The average man is constantly trying to force, convince, or control a woman. He overcompensates, plans every detail, and clings to the illusion that if he's in control, he won't be rejected. But women don't want to be dragged. They don't want to be suffocated. They want to feel like they are choosing you and not like you are chasing them. And nothing activates that more powerfully than handing her the frame of choice while standing solid in your own. Take Eric, 55. He was on a date with a younger woman, and when it came time to decide where to go afterward, he didn't beg or push. He looked her in the eyes, calm and grounded, and said, "You decide." That was it. No pressure. No chase. No need to convince. And in that moment, she felt something no man had ever given her before. Freedom wrapped in strength. She chose to follow him. Not because he forced her, but because he allowed her to step into the decision. That's power. Psychologically, this works because women are wired to seek agency in their attraction. They don't want a prisoner. They want a partner who trusts his own gravity enough to let her come to him. By saying, "You decide," you flip the frame from neediness to abundance. You demonstrate that your world doesn't collapse based on her answer. And, ironically, it's in that detachment that she leans toward you even harder. Marcus Aurelius put it best: "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." When you say "you decide," you're not giving away power. You're showing mastery over your own, because you know that no matter what she chooses, you remain whole. The mindset shift is this: stop fearing her choice. Stop trying to control the outcome. Speak the 2 words that show her you're unshakable, and let her prove with her actions what she truly wants. Because when a woman feels she chose you freely, she'll never forget it. 4. Why control kills attraction. Here's the paradox most men never grasp. The harder you try to control her, the faster you lose her. The weaker man clings, plans, and demands certainty. He wants to know where she is, who she's texting, and whether she feels the same way he does. On the surface, it looks like care, but underneath, it reeks of fear. And nothing kills desire faster than fear disguised as love. Take Robert, 47. He met a woman 15 years younger and thought the way to keep her was to micromanage the relationship. He texted her every morning and night, asked for constant reassurance, and tried to dictate how often they'd see each other. Within weeks, she pulled away. Not because he wasn't attractive, but because he was drowning her in control. Women don't crave a warden. They crave a man whose presence feels like freedom, not a prison. Psychologically, this makes sense. Attraction is built on polarity, the tension between masculine and feminine energy. The masculine provides structure, but not a cage. The feminine blossoms when it feels safe, not when it feels suffocated. And when a man can let go, when he can detach from outcomes, he sends the deepest signal of all. I am not afraid of loss. That's magnetic. That's irresistible. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." That includes her choices, her moods, and her actions. The man who knows this doesn't cling. He doesn't demand. He lives from a place of grounded detachment. And that detachment, paradoxically, makes her chase him harder. The mindset shift is this. Stop trying to lock her down. Stop needing constant reassurance. Speak less, trust more, and let her actions reveal her truth. Because control breeds resentment, but detachment breeds desire. 5. The silent test. Why women push you away to see if you'll chase. If you've ever been ignored by a woman you were certain liked you, you've lived through this test. One day she's warm, laughing at your jokes, responding quickly. The next day she's cold, distant, and busy. Most men panic at this point. They flood her phone, they double down with effort, they try to fix whatever went wrong. And in that moment, they fail the test. Why? Because she wasn't looking for more words. She was looking for proof of your frame. Let me tell you about Sam, 53. He started dating a woman 20 years younger, and everything seemed perfect until one weekend when she suddenly stopped replying. Old Sam, the desperate version, would have lost sleep, blown up her phone, and begged for attention. But the man he had become understood the test. So he said 2 words, "Your choice." Then he let it go. No chasing, no begging. Within 48 hours, she was the one reaching back out, more interested than before. Because in those 2 words, she felt his strength. She realized he wasn't going to collapse just because she pulled away. Psychologically, women test because they want to feel safe. They want to know if you're a man who breaks under pressure or a man who holds steady. If you crumble when she withholds attention, she knows you're not solid. But if you stand tall, detached, and unshaken, she feels magnetically drawn to that security. Seneca once said, "If you would judge, understand." Don't take her pulling away as a personal insult. Understand what's really happening. She's not rejecting you. She's testing you. And if you can pass with calm detachment, she'll only come back hungrier for your presence. The mindset shift. When she withdraws, don't chase, don't fight, don't crumble. Breathe, hold your ground, and with 2 words, your choice, you prove more than 1,000 speeches ever could. 6. Why respect is sexier than compliments. Here's a truth most men choke on. Women don't crave your endless compliments. They crave your respect. A compliment is cheap. Anyone can hand it out. Respect, on the other hand, is rare. It isn't something you give just because she's pretty. It's something you give when her actions earn it, and that's what makes it valuable. Think about Tom, 48. He'd been dating younger women for years, but he noticed a pattern. Whenever he showered them with praise too quickly, the spark died fast. He thought he was being kind, but what he was really doing was putting them on a pedestal, placing them above him. Then, one night, everything changed. A woman asked him point blank what he thought about her. He paused, leaned back, and simply said, "Show me." 2 words. Instantly, the frame shifted. She had to earn his respect. She wasn't the prize by default. She had to step up and prove her worth. That night, her attraction skyrocketed. Psychologically, this is rooted in evolutionary triggers. Women are designed to screen for men with standards. If you hand out validation for free, you show her you're just like every other desperate man fighting for attention. But when you hold back, when you reserve your respect, she feels challenged. She feels the magnetic pull to prove herself to you. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." A good man doesn't grovel. He doesn't hand out respect blindly. He lives with standards, and he lets women rise or fall based on how they meet them. The mindset shift. Stop giving her the crown before she's earned it. Don't compliment for the sake of pleasing. Use 2 words, "Show me," and watch how quickly she fights for your attention instead of the other way around. 7. The final key. 2 words reveal your entire frame. Here's the ultimate truth. It's not the words themselves that make her go crazy. It's the frame behind them. You could hand the same 2 words. You decide, "Show me," your choice, to a weak man, and they'd collapse in his mouth. Why? Because women don't just listen to what you say. They feel who you are when you say it. The tone, the presence, the silence after. That's where the real power lives. Think of Michael, 56. He'd spent years learning every line in the book. And still, women slipped away. But when he finally stopped performing, when he started living with discipline, self-respect, and detachment, those same 2 words suddenly worked like magic. Because they weren't just words anymore, they were backed by a man who meant them. That's what women feel. Not the line, the life behind it. Psychology proves this. Studies show that communication is only a fraction verbal. The rest is body language, tone, and emotional state. When you speak with grounded calm, with no need to beg, with no fear of loss, she feels it in her nervous system. It bypasses logic and goes straight to instinct. That's why 2 words can do more than 1,000 lines. They reveal your essence. Epictetus once wrote, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." If you want your words to carry weight, become the man who lives them. The 2 words are just the spark. Your frame is the fire. The mindset shift. Stop obsessing over the right thing to say. Start obsessing over the man you are becoming. Because when your frame is strong, any 2 words can open doors no other man can touch. Brother, here's the lesson. Women are not waiting for another smooth talker. They're waiting for a man who speaks with presence. 2 words spoken from the right frame are more powerful than 10,000 spoken from weakness. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." Don't be like the men who chase, who beg, who collapse under pressure. Be the man who stands firm, who speaks less but means more. The man whose words don't come from need but from truth. Because in the end, attraction isn't about tricks. It's about power. And power doesn't shout. Power whispers, and the world leans in to listen. If you're ready to stop chasing, if you're ready to speak with a presence that flips every test on its head, then it's time to step into the brotherhood. Drop a comment below with the phrase, "My words carry weight." That way I know you're not just here to watch. You're here to become. And if this resonated with you, subscribe to the channel right now, because every week we're breaking down the psychology, the philosophy, and the raw truths that transform men from invisible into unforgettable. Remember this, brother, it only takes 2 words to open her mind, but it takes a lifetime of discipline to become the man who can say them. Start now.